Hi there, it's Miss Molina here with another chapter of Mananaland, our novel that we're reading by Pam Munoz Ryan. Today, I'm going to begin with chapter 3, and we're going to actually read chapters 3 and 4. If you haven't already heard chapters 1 and 2, make sure you go back to our channel and take a look at what happened first. Chapter 3. Max dribbled the football along the dusty path to the cottage, remembering the first time La Caja Sorpresa had burst open. He was in grade 2, playing marbles in the dirt on the playground with a new boy after school. All the other children had already gone home. A teacher sat nearby, waiting with them. "My mama is always late," said the boy. "Where's yours?" Max frowned. "She lives far away." "Where?" Max shrugged. Why hadn't Papa told him? The boy laughed. "You don't know where your own mother lives?" The teacher jumped up, quickly pulled the boy aside, and whispered something to him. Solemnly, the boy nodded, then returned to the marble game. "What did she say?" Max whispered. "That you're a poor motherless child and it's not polite to talk about her." "How come?" asked Max. "Other kids had parents who didn't live with them." The boy shrugged. "She said it might make you feel sad and unworthy. Want to play tag?" As they began chasing each other, Max thought about what the boy had said. It wasn't sadness he felt. It was a peculiar nothingness, tucked behind a veil of secrecy that no one was willing to lift. Not Papa, not Abuelo, not his teachers, or his neighbors. What did they know that he didn't? He ran after the boy, and the words echoed. Poor, motherless, unworthy. Later, as he walked home with Abuelo and Papa, he asked, "When did my mother leave? Where did she go? When is she coming back?" Papa looked startled. "Max, where is this coming from?" Max repeated what the boy had said. Papa stopped and knelt in front of him, his eyes desperate. "Please understand, I don't have all the answers. I don't know where she is, and I don't know if she's ever coming back." "Have you looked for her?" "Of course. I've never stopped looking," said Papa. "So you can ask her to come home, and we could be a family?" Papa sighed. "When you're older, I'll explain more, but now, you, me, and Abuelo," he put his hand over his heart. "We are a family." He stood and walked on. Abuelo took Max's hand. "This is a very painful subject for your father. Can you see that?" Max nodded. His eyes brimmed. "But I don't know anything about her. I don't remember." "How could you? You were not even a year old when she left," said Abuelo. "Your father will share more when you're both ready. I will talk to him. Would you like that?" Max nodded as tears rolled down his face. Did she leave because of me? Because I was unworthy?" Abuelo pulled Max close and wiped his cheeks with his handkerchief. "Unworthy? No. You've never given anyone a reason to leave. The only thing you have ever given this family is joy. If your mother could see the fine boy you are, she'd be proud." Max leaned into Abuelo's chest. "Will I ever meet her?" "Solo mañana sabe." Only the place we know as tomorrow holds the answers. It wasn't much comfort, but all the way home, Max clung to Abuelo's words and whispered, "Solo mañana sabe." Later at bedtime, when Papa came into Max's room to say goodnight, he sat on the bed. "I'm sorry I was so abrupt today," he stroked Max's hair. "I know you want to know more about your mother. Her name is Renata Esteban Cordoba, and you have her eyes." He put the leather cord with the compass in Max's hand. This belonged to her. It had been her mother's. She treasured it and wore it all the time. One day she couldn't find it anywhere and was devastated. After she left, I found it lodged behind a drawer in the dresser. I always hoped to return it to her someday. Until then, I think she would want you to have it. In the almost dark, Max could see Papa blinking back tears. He didn't want to cause Papa any more pain, so he didn't ask questions. He just hugged his neck. After Papa left, Max studied the silver compass with its markings for north, south, east, and west. As he turned it, the tiny needle shimmied. Engraved on the back was an elaborate compass rose with 8 points of direction. Papa had said he didn't know if she was coming back. Was she waiting to be found? Maybe the compass would guide him toward her, wherever she was, and Max could return it. When she met him and realized what a fine boy he was, she might even consider coming home. Max whispered her name over and over so he could hear it rolling off his tongue. Renata, Renata, Renata. The nothingness that he had felt for so long had turned into a little something. Chapter 4. The smell of peppery fish and fresh bread greeted Max before he reached the front gate. Dinner and excitement about the football clinic overshadowed his thoughts. Still, Max knew he would have to wait for the right moment to ask permission. Abuelo had been busy today. The yard was weeded, the bushes pruned, and the nearby corral for their burro, Dulce, raked. The small stable even had new straw. Max unlatched the front gate and Lola leaped toward him, shimmying and yelping as if it had been days instead of hours since she'd last seen him. I missed you too, girl. Max ruffled the dog's black and white head and kissed her giant muzzle. She darted away and returned with a stick in her mouth, nudging his hand. Max tossed it as far as he could, and she ran after it. Abuelo hobbled from the stone cottage. Even with his cane, he liked to say he was as strong as Dulce, just a little slower. His shirt sleeves were rolled up and a kitchen towel stained from cooking was tucked into the waist of his blue jeans. His wavy white hair seemed to float on his head like a cloud. Are you hungry? I caught trucha this morning, your favorite. Junior will be happy too. Where is he? You beat him home. Everyone called Papa Junior because he was Feliciano Cordoba Jr., after Abuelo, who was the first. Max thought the name Feliciano, which meant happy, fit Abuelo much better than it did Papa. Max's middle name was Feliciano, which seemed right because he was somewhere between Abuelo and Papa on the happiness scale. Yes, I'm hungry. Max's mouth watered at the prospect of fried trout. He followed Abuelo inside the stone cottage, which, even during the warmest weather, stayed cool. After Max washed his hands in the sink and set the table, Papa finally walked into the kitchen. He held up a basket covered in a dish towel. I saw Miss Dominguez. Max rolled his eyes. Again? She was my teacher. It's embarrassing. It shouldn't bother you. She's not your teacher any longer, said Papa. And she only told me how much she's going to miss you in her class next year. She said you were very innovative in your approach to solving problems. Max hid his smile and thought better of telling Papa what she meant. Miss Dominguez had been amused by Max's elaborate explanations for why he was late, or had forgotten his homework, or why he and Chuy should be partners for one project or another. She encouraged his storytelling. Papa thought it would think it immature. She's being nice because she likes you, said Max. Papa shook his head. It's just people helping people. She sees a boy like you, and it brings out the mother hen in her. That's all. Some fresh tortillas or bread, a knit hat or sweater. What does it hurt? And I'm helping to repair her garden wall. Favor con favor se paga. A favor for a favor, said Max. I wish she'd repay you by sending a pair of volantes in her basket. Willow patted Max's shoulder. Volantes so your feet can fly? I like your optimism. Now both of you sit. Tell me about your day. We saw a giant falcon, said Papa. Female. It was gliding in circles. Max waved his arm in the air to demonstrate. Papa said it was a peregrine. Then I saw it again when I was with Chuy, Ortiz, and Gui. Twice in one day? Very auspicious, said Willow. It's known as the pilgrim bird because it journeys far away to promised lands, but always returns to the same area, bringing good fortune and magic. You were lucky to see one. Papa raised an eyebrow at Willow, then turned to Max. It's just a myth. It was a coincidence. We happened to be there when it flew over. Only fools believe in luck. Good fortune comes from hard work, careful preparation, and practice. Max glanced at Willow and rolled his eyes. Couldn't Papa believe in something as simple as a little good luck? I'm starting a new footbridge near the outdoor market next week, Papa continued. That bridge, not the Falcon, will bring prosperity to the village by making it easier for people to trade and sell. Willow grinned. The new bridge will allow one side of the river to safely hold hands with the other. Max chimed in. Because a Cordoba bridge never collapses. First things first, then stone by stone. That's how you accomplish anything well. That's right, said Papa, nodding proudly. Papa Abuelo and his father before him were stonemasons. They kept all the bridges in the land in good repair and built new spans. Already Max knew the best rocks for decking, revetments, and keystones. People often asked him if he was going to follow in his family's footsteps. He never knew quite what to say. Maybe someday, after he became a famous footballer. But first things first, Max took a deep breath and sat a little straighter. Papa, tryouts are coming up and... Max cleared his throat. I need to get in shape and build my strength to be ready. He held up a skinny arm, making a fist to show how much muscle he did not have. Ortiz's cousin is running a summer clinic in Santa Ynez and said he can bring some friends. He invited me and Chuy and Gui. We take the bus there and back each day. Can I go, Papa? Papa didn't even look up from his dinner. It's too expensive and too far away from home for you to be on your own. That's the thing, said Max, leaning forward. There's no tuition. The cousin has extra spots to fill. I wouldn't be alone. I'd be with my friends. You can talk to Ortiz's father about it. Papa's body tensed. The answer is no. It does not matter whether it's free or not. It's in a town 45 minutes away. Anything could happen to you in Santa Ynez. And I know Chuy's parents. I can't imagine they would allow him to go either. Besides, Willow and I can teach you everything you'd learn at the clinic. You have the expertise of two professionals right here in Santa Maria. Papa, please, Max begged. He looked to Abuelo for help, but he only lowered his eyes. This was Papa's decision. You never let me do anything away from the village. You don't need to worry about me. I'm responsible, and I'm not going to disappear like... Max regretted his words the second he said them. Papa laid down his fork and stared at his plate. Finally, he looked up and said, It's others I worry about, Max. And the answer is still no. But, he pointed at him, you can work for me this summer on the new bridge. I haven't hired an apprentice yet. Then you can earn some new football shoes. And lifting stones will build your muscles. Max slumped in his chair. He could see that Papa wasn't going to change his mind. But if he was right about Chewy's parents, at least Max and Chewy would be together. Can Chewy be an apprentice too? If his parents agree, said Papa, I could use the help. I've already cleared the site, and the foundations and abutments are laid and mortared. I'm going to the ruins on Monday to collect more stones. You two could start unloading them at the bridge site after that. Can I go with you to collect the stones? You know the ruins is no place for a boy. Papa, I'm almost 12. I'm not little anymore. When you're older, said Papa, the tone in his voice saying the subject was closed. Max didn't press because he knew it was useless. We could work until the tryouts, but if we make the team, then I'll hire an apprentice, said Papa. Willow raised a finger. Speaking of that, I heard about the new coach today. Me too, said Max. His name is Hector Cruz, and he's really strict about the rules. We have to prove our age and where we live just to register for tryouts. Everyone needs their birth certificate. Our team has always respected the rules, said Willow. Max continued, but some teams didn't, and some boys were older than they were supposed to be. I wish Ortiz was too old to play. He's trying out for goalie too. He's a lot bigger than me and has a mustache. Bigger doesn't mean better, said Willow. Quickness counts. Today I saved more shots on goal than he did, said Max. See, said Willow. But he was better at throwing and kicking. Max, you're skilled at forward too, not just at goalie, said Papa. And keep in mind that not everyone makes the village team the first year they try out. It's better not to get your hopes up. Besides, you're still pretty young to be on a team that travels around the state. I'm not sure how I feel about that. You played on the village team when you were my age. That was different. Max felt heat rise to his face. Different how? Why couldn't Papa have faith that Max could look out for himself? Why couldn't Papa be a little optimistic? I want to make it this year and play goalie like you and Willow. If I make it, one of you would come to my game anyway. Willow muttered, He's persistent, Junior, like someone else I know. Papa sighed. True enough. Can you start training me and Chewy tomorrow? Papa nodded. As long as we get home by 3 o'clock, your aunties and uncles uncle are coming for dinner. And your uncle and I are going to play a little chess. It's time I won a game for Mayor Rodrigo Soto. Max smiled. His aunties were really his great aunts, Buelo's sisters, Amelia and Mariana. Amelia was married to Tio Rodrigo, the mayor of Santa Maria. Plus, you need to give Lola a bath tomorrow afternoon. Papa pushed up from the table. I won't be late tonight. He pointed to Buelo. Don't fill his mind with nonsense. Stay out as long as you like, said Buelo. Before he left, Papa kissed Max on the head. Go to bed when Buelo says. Max nodded, stealing a look at Willow, who winked at him.